3, 2, 1, jump!
Children, why do you sit here with such sorrow, crying out to gods? The town is filled with the sounds of hymns and smells of incense. I, whom all men call the Great, came out to learn of this myself. You are old, and they are young. Come, speak for them. What do you fear, or want that you sit here, crying out, and willing to give all that you may need?
Lord Oedipus, these innocent children and I, the priests of Zeus, we come to pray at your altars. King, you have seen our city tossing like a wrecked ship in a storm. It can scarcely lift its prow out of the depths, out of the bloody surf. A disease is upon the plants of the earth and on the cattle in our fields. A blight is on our women that no children are born to them. Our city is emptied of people, while black death reaps the harvest of our tears. We have come to speak to you, O King. You came and saved our city and freed us from the monstrous beings who enslaved us. This you did by your wisdom. Some God was by your side. Oedipus, greatest in all men's eyes, we pray, find strength again and rescue our city. Perhaps you hear a wise word whispered by some God or in any human way you know. Noblest of men, keep our city from sinking. This land of ours calls you its savior since you saved it once. Before you brought us luck, help us again in this misfortune.
His face is bright. O holy Lord Apollo, grant that his muse will also be bright and will bring us comfort. Lord Creon, my good brother, what is the word you bring us from the god?
By banishing a man or by taking blood, for it is a murder's guilt that holds our city in this destructive storm.
Who is this man, whose fate the god reveals?
My lord, before you came to guide us, we had a king called Lawis. Apollo commanded that someone punish this dead man's murderers.
Where did this murder take place?
The king was on a trip, but never returned.
What was that? If we had a clue, we might discover more.
This man said that the robbers were many. It was not a single man's doing. Because of these riddling things, we neglected the mysterious crime and sought a solution to the troubles before us. That was long ago, before you came.
What is the sweet voice from the shrine of Apollo rich in gold that I have heard? I am racked with doubt and fear, and in trembling hold my heart, and I worship full of fears for what will pass throughout the years. No spear have we to drive away the plague, no children are begotten, our sorrows are without number. Mighty Zeus, are we forgotten?
Hear my words, citizens of Thebes, for in them you will find strength. I command that whoever among you knows the murder of Lawis, tell everything. In telling there shall be no punishment, but the murderer shall be banished to save our lands. Or if you know the murderer, speak the truth, for I will pay and be grateful too. But if you keep silent, beware, I forbid any to welcome him, or let him join in sacrifice or offering to the gods, or give him water. I command all to drive him from your homes, since he is our pollution. I stand as a champion of the god, and one of the men who died. Upon the murderer I invoke this curse. May he live out his life in misery to miserable doom. A good man is dead, since I am now the holder of his office, and have his bed and wife, that once was his. I will defend him as I would my own father. Those who do not obey me, may the gods grant no crops, springing from the ground they plow, nor children to their women. May a fate like this, or one still worse, consume them.
I neither killed the king nor know the killer, but since Apollo set the task, it is his part to tell who the man is. Blind old Euripides can see what Apollo sees. If you inquire of him, you might find out most clearly.
Euripides, you know how much things teachable and things not to be spoken, things of the heavens and earth. You have no eyes, but in your mind you know what a plague holds your city. My lord, you alone can rest. We shall learn the names of those who killed King Lawis and killed him or expelled him from our country. Do not withhold from us the oracles from birds, or any other way of prophecy within your skill. Save yourself and the city, and save me. And this pollution that lies on us because of this dead man. We are in your hands.
Alas, how terrible is wisdom when it turns against you. Let me go home. It will be easiest for us both to go no further in this.
For God's sake, if you know anything, do not turn from us.
All of you here know nothing. I will not bring our troubles to the light of day.
What do you mean? You know something and refuse to speak. Would you betray us and destroy the city?
I will say nothing further. Let your temper rage as wildly as you will.
Indeed, I am angry. He must be a conspirator in the deed. If you had eyes, I would have said that you all murdered him.
Yes, then I warn you faithfully to keep your word and from this day forth to speak no word of greeting to these people nor me. You are the land's pollution. Did you not understand before? You provoked me into speaking. You are the murderer of the king.
You shall not lie like this and stay unpunished.
I say that with those you love best, you live in foulest shame and do not see where you are wrong. You are a poor wretch to pile upon me insults, which everyone will soon heap upon me.
My one-time friend Creon attacks me secretly for wealth and power. He wants to drive me out of and devises this trick with this beggar who has only eyes for his own gains, but blindness in his skill. Before I defeated the Sphinx by answering its riddle, where was your gift of prophecy then? I came and stopped her. Mine was no knowledge got from birds, and now you expel me? Because you think that you will find a place but Creon's throne?
I have the right to speak in my defense against you. I live in the service of Apollo, not yours nor Creon's. Listen to me. You have called me blind, but you have your eyes, but not see where you are in sin. Do you know who your parents are? And of multitude of the other evils between you and your children, you know nothing.
Citizens, I have come because I heard scandalous words spread about me by the king. I am no traitor to my city, nor to my friends.
You dare come here after you tried to rob me of my crown? What made you lay a plot like this against me? Did you think a criminal would not be punished because he is my kinsman?
Will you listen to words and then pass judgment? Of what offense am I guilty?
Did the prophet ever say a word about me then? Why didn't our wise friend say something then?
Consider this. Would any man be king in constant fear, when he could live in peace and quiet and have no less power? I have no desire to have the responsibilities of a king. Now I am carefree. You give me all I want, the prizes are all mine. Riches, respect, and honor. And without fear, why should I let all this go? I would never dare to join a plot. Do you look for proof? Then go to the oracle and ask if they are as I told you. If you discover I plotted together with the seer, sentence me to death, not by your vote alone, but by many own as well. Don't throw away an honest friend. In time, you will know all with certainty. Time is the only test of honest men. In one day, you can know a villain.
Are you not ashamed to start a private feud when the country is suffering?
My sister, your husband thinks he has the right to do me wrong. He has but to choose how to make me suffer, by banishing me or killing me.
I beg you, Oedipus, trust him. Spare him for the sake of his oath to God, for my sake.
I'll go, and they have known my innocence. Your temper is your own worst.
Yes, when I found out what was the matter. What was the story that angered the king so?
He sent this rascal prophet to me. He keeps his own mouth clean of any guilt.
Then you have no need to worry about this matter. Listen, no human being is gifted in the art of prophecy. Of that, I'll offer you proof. There was an oracle once that came to Laius, and it told him that it was the fate that he should die, a victim at the hands of his own son, a son to be born of Laius and me. But, see, the king was killed by a foreign highway robbers at the place where 3 roads meet. So the story goes. And for the son, before 3 days were out after his birth, King Laius pierced his ankles and had him cast out upon a hillside to die. So, Apollo failed to fulfill his oracle to the son, that he should kill his father. And to Laius, also prophecy proved false. The thing he feared death at his son's hands never came to pass. Clear and false were the oracles. Give them no heed, I say. What makes you speak like this?
Thought I heard you say that Laius was killed at the crossroads.
It was just before you came to our city to rule us. What is it, Eudapus, that's on your mind?
Tell me one more thing. Did you travel with many servants or a few?
The only servant that escaped safely home.
Sir, we too fear these things, but until you see this man face to face and hear his story, have hope.
If I find that his story is the same as yours, I at least will be clear of this guilt. You said I spoke of highway robbers who killed Laius. Now, if he used the plural number, it was not I who killed him. One man cannot be the same as many. But if he speaks of a man traveling alone, then guilt points to me.
I will send him quickly. But he cannot prove the prophecy, for that poor creature did not kill him surely, for he died himself first on the hillside. So as far as prophecy goes, don't be worried about it.
God bless you, lady.
God bless you, sir. What do you want of us? What have you to tell us?
Good news, lady. Good for your household and for your husband. I come from Corinth, and the news I will bring will please you, perhaps pain you a little too. King Polybus is dead. The people there want Oedipus to be their king.
This man is from Corinth, and he tells that your father Polybus is dead and gone.
Small thing will put old bodies to rest. He died of old age.
Once a prophecy said that I should lie with my own mother and take the blood of my own father. So for these long years I have lived away from Corinth. How I missed my parents.
This was the fear that drove you out of Corinth?
I did not wish to kill my father.
It's plain that all of your fears are empty. Polybus was no kind to you in blood.
What? Was not Polybus my father?
He took you as a gift from these hands of mine. On the slopes outside of your town you were found. I was shepherd then, and the man that saved your life, son.
What was wrong with me when you took me in your arms?
Your ankles should be witnesses. I loosed you. The tendons of your feet were pierced and tied together. But the man who gave you to me has more knowledge than I.
Then you yourself did not find me? You took me from someone else?
Yes, from another shepherd. He was Laius' man.
Oh, Eudapus, unhappy Eudapus. That is all I can call you. The last thing I shall ever call you.
Why has the queen gone in wild grief? Oedipus, rushing from us? I fear that from her silence will break a storm.
Old man, look at me and tell me what I ask you. Were you ever a servant of King Laius?
I was. Most of my life was spent among the flock.
Do you remember giving me a child to bring up as my foster child?
Why do you ask this question?
Look, old man, here he is. Here's the man who was the child.
Why, what do you want to know?
You gave him a child?
I did. I wish I died that day.
You are a dead man if I ask you again.
It was from the house of Laius. The child was his child, but your wife would tell you best how all this was.
By her own hand, the worst of what was done you cannot know. When she came raging into the house, she went straight to her marriage bed, tearing her hair with both hands and crying to Laius. Then Oedipus burst upon us, shouting, and he begged us, "Give me a sword!" Into the room, he rushed and saw his wife hanging, the twisted rope around her neck. He cried out fearfully and cut the dangling noose. Then, as she lay on the ground, what happened after was terrible to see.
He tore the brooches from her and lifted them up high, and dashed them into his own eyeballs, shrieking out at such thing as, "They will never see the crime I have committed. Dark eyes, now in the days to come look on forbidden faces. Do not recognize those whom you long for." And he struck his eyes again and again. With every blow blood spurted down his cheeks.
What demon urged you to stab into your own eyes?
It was Apollo that brought my ruin to completion, but the hand that struck was my own. Why should I see when vision shows me nothing sweet to see? Curse the man who rescued me as I lay cast out on the hillside. He stole me from death. I wish I had died then.
You would be far better off dead than living still and blind.
Oh, my lord! Is it my daughters are here sobbing? My two darlings, come to these hands of mine, your brother's hands. Creon has had pity and has sent me what I love most.
Come along. Soon you will leave the city, but let the children stay. Do not ask to have everything your way. Your time for giving orders has passed.
Behold Oedipus, he who knew the famous riddle and rose to greatness. His good fortune was the envy of all. See him now and see how the waves of disaster have swallowed him. Look upon the last day always. Count no mortal happy till he pass the final limit of his life without calamity.
You think you could desert our marriage and still live happy? So call me the lioness or Skyla in the rocks. I tore your heart.
And so you must be vanished. However, I shall not desert my friends in spite of their behavior. But I'm here to see that you and your children do not go out penniless.
I suffered for your worthless sake to be abandoned for another woman, even though I had borne your children.
Have things come to such a pass that women think marriage is the only thing that matters, and when once the sole possession has some small little defect, they take what is good to make it hateful. Not that I loathed your marriage, better that I was infatuated with my new wife or anxious for a larger family. I am satisfied with what I already have. No, my main reason was that we should live well. I tell you, it was not for a woman's sake I made this royal alliance, but as I said before, to offer you to protection and beget young kings to be my sons, new brothers, towers of strength to us. You should pray for something more profitable, never to judge good fortune as bad or count yourself hard done when all is good.
Go on, insult me. You have a place to go while I am in exile from the land and friendliness.
You brought it on yourself. Blame no one else.
How did I marry and abandon you? He prides himself on being able to talk this way out of everything. He fears nothing. Zeus, why is it you leave marks to help us tell true gold from counterfeit, and yet nature leaves no stumps on men's bodies to help us tell true from fake? Medea is a warning from the first democracy down through time to all democracies about the danger of